Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today's video we're going to be doing a deck profile on Garbodor VMAX, Trevenant VMAX. Might seem kind of like a really weird combo, but before you click off, I would like to give you the reasoning why I think these two cards actually synergize pretty well together. So we're playing with the Garbodor VMAX and Trevenant VMAX, as I said before. Starting off with the Garbodor VMAX because it is our main attacker here. We have 330 HP, which is really, really nice. Because it means Intellion doesn't two-shot you, which is really great. But we have Armor Darkness, which means we hit weakness on Colorets. We have a really cool ability here, Trash Hoarding, where you can just attach two Pokemon tools to Garbodor, which is really, really cool. Then we have Darkness and a colorless VMAX Stink 120. Your opponent's Pokemon is now poisoned, and it cannot retreat your impulse next turn. So this is our main attacker. Might seem kind of weak. And now that I show you Trevenant, this is when you probably are going to start to be like, how do these cards have any synergy at all? But I'll get to that in a minute. Probably actually after we do the deck list, I'll get to how these cards all synergize together. But then we have our Trevenant VMAX here, which has 320 HP and with Grass, which means we're one shot by Victini, which is not good. Also means Sanders works pretty easily, one shots us too. But we have a Grass on a colorless. Force Screams 40 times, stack is 40 damage for each supporter card in your opponent's discard pile. So it's for each supporter card in your opponent's discard pile, which is something I haven't really seen before. When we've seen it with actually a regular Garbodor, I believe in Guardians Rising or Burning Shot. Pretty sure it's Guardians Rising. I'm not 100% sure. But it was item cards in your opponent's discard pile. This one it's supporters, so it has a bigger multiplier because you know VMAXs have 320 HP, and the GXs are only time capped at around 240. Yeah, now I've shown you these cards, and you're probably thinking how do these cards use synergy? And like I mentioned a little bit earlier, we'll get to that later down the line in the deck list. But for now, let's just get into the deck list. Starting off with a 2-3 line of Garbodor VMAX. I already told you what the Garbodor VMAX does. But the Garbodor V here is pretty mediocre, so I'm not going to like hold it or anything. For Darkness Colorless, there's 40. Front-side opponent is Poison, Confusing, Hit Retreat, and then 3 energy, 130. So it's not, it's pretty basic evolving V Pokemon. But our Trevenant V is actually kind of interesting. We have a two line of Trevenant VMAX, by the way. Our Trevenant V has the first attack is not too great. It's 230, heal 30. But our second attack for Grass Colorless, Shadow Claw 120. You discard a random card from opponent's hand. And we play a heavy count of Marnie, which means that Shadow Claw come out with a Marnie. If you get lucky, you can and with Crushing Hammers. So we have Crushing Hammers. You can kind of devastate your opponent if you get a little bit lucky. So sometimes if you're going to struggle, then that Trevenant V can come in and save you. Then we have some one-of cards. We have a 1 of Galarian Moltres V, which has Dire Flame Wings, which is Metal Saucer, Twit for Darkness Energy only once per turn, and then 3 Energy 190 does 30 damage to itself. This is just because we were playing energy switches, and Galarian Moltres just in combination with a single hit of Garbodor effectively doing 130 damage in one hit. Warburn just help 2-shot a VMAX into 3-shot, which we're usually going to be doing with our Garbodor. And our Trevenant will be giving us 1-shot potential later in the game, which once again, I'll get to at the end of the deck profile. But also with a couple copies of Energy Switch that we have, this Galarian just can be kind of niche and cool. We also have one copy of Ditto V, which isn't a card that sees a lot of play. But here we have one copy. It has V Transformation. It's an ability. Once in your turn, you can just switch it with a Pokemon, basic Pokemon V in your discard pile, and any attached cards, special conditions, turns of play, stuff like that remain from your Pokemon. So this can effectively be a third copy of Trevenant V, a fourth copy of Garbodor V, a second copy of Galarian Moltres, or a second copy of Leafeon V. And then the attack here is just attach energy card in your discard pile. So yeah, the Ditto V can also be kind of nice for adding a couple more copies to your basic Vs and something else that you can Great Ball and so you can do some Great Balls. But then moving on to our Leafeon V, we have a Draining Cells, which is an ability. Once on your turn, you can switch your deck for a grab energy, attach to your Pokemon, and then your turn ends. So this can be used for just in a pinch if you don't have a basic energy in your hand, or an energy, I should say, in your hand. You can just quick ball for this Leafeon, and then use breeding cells for the turn to end it and get that self energy that you're missing. So one copy of Leafeon V, and you have one copy of Crobat V with Dark Cassette, and then one copy of Eldegoss V with Happy Match. So those are our Pokemon. We have a 3-2 line of Garbodor VMAX, a 2-2 line of Trevenant VMAX, and one layer which is 1 Ditto V, 1 Leafeon V, 1 Crobat V, and 1 Eldegoss V. Moving on to our supporter cards, we have once again a heavy count of Marnie, so we even have 4 copies of Marnie, which lets us both players shuffle their hands, put on the bottom. You get 5 cards, and one gets 4. In combo with our crushing hammers, it can be really devastating. As I mentioned before, our Trevenant V, if you get lucky, this can also be kind of like a combat card. We have, and this is also another part of kind of what makes our deck really good. We have 3 copies of Professor's Research, which is, of course, probably the best discard draw card we have in the game, which is discard a hand and draw 7. Now, the reason we're playing more cards in Marnie over Research is because we want to be disrupting our opponent's hand a lot more because we have a whole bunch of energy disruption. So energy disruption plus hand disruption is our key. Also, I originally had Judge in this list, and then I looked at Evolving Skies set list, and it wasn't in there. So I decided to take it out and add in Researches and then Eldegoss instead. Yeah, if Judge is out when you're watching this, definitely put in 4 copies of Judge because hand disruption is really, really important. Which, once again, I'll get to at the end of the video. Moving on, we have 3 copies of Boss's Orders, because you can't really survive the format without some sort of gusting effects, so we're going to have 3 copies of that guy. We have 2 copies of Peony, which is from Chilling Rain. It lets us, or makes us, I should say, discard our hand and then search our deck for any 2 trainer cards and then put them in their hands. So this can be used for getting out, a couple Crushing Hammers if we really need to hit Hammerheads, or it can get out Evolution Incense and a Quick Ball, so you can Evolution this turn, next turn Quick Ball for Crobat. Or, just in a pinch, you can act as a draw into a 6 with or basically just draw 6 cards because of Quick Ball and some other random trainer you can discard. So 2 copies of Peony. And also used to be help set up our Rugged Helmets, which is another really important key to our strategy. And our last supporter is going to be 1 copy of Cheryl from Battle Styles. So with that all said and done, let's move on to our item cards. Now, before I actually move on to the other cards, I do want to say one thing about the stadiums. Obviously, the ability on Garbodor says that if it's not working, you have to discard and play one item card attached to it. So obviously, Path of the Peak is really, really good against our Garbodor. It makes it so we can only have 1 trainer attached. I'm actually applying no outs to stadium removal. If you want to add outs to stadium removal, if you're really, really worried about it, you can go ahead and do that. But for now, we're not going to play any stadium removal or bumping stadiums or anything like that. I guess the best stadium you could probably play in this deck is like either Spike Myth, supplement your damage, or Galar Mine to make it so your opponent can't retreat. Actually, no, not Galar Mine, because it can already not retreat for your Garbodor. Or like a Rose Tower or an Old Cemetery or something like that. Because our attacks are relatively cheap to energy. And our Garbodor has 330 HP, which is a little bit higher than usual. So if you want to play stadiums, you can play Rose Tower, Spike Myth, and Old Cemetery. Counter those Path of the Peaks. So yeah, now we can get into our item cards. Obviously, for Quick Ball, switching our decks for our basics can be really, really good. And for Crushing Hammer, because Energy Denial is a really, really big part of our strategy. Being able to just Energy Denial our opponent away in combination with our Rugged Helmets, which is next in the list. We have 4 copies of Rugged Helmet. Rugged Helmet is a tool card, and it says that when the Pokemon is attached to is damaged by opponent's attack, you just put an energy attached to your opponent's other Pokemon into their hands. So you can attach 2 of those to a Garbodor and then super aggressively remove their energies with Crushing Hammers and stuff like that. Yeah, once again, this is a very integral part of our strategy, which I'll get to at the end of the video. Next, we have 3 copies of Evolution Incense. Might seem kind of like a lot, especially considering that we have only 2 evolutions. I found myself whiffing my Trevenants and my Garbodors a whole lot, so I originally only had 1, and I had to bump it all the way up to 3, and we still have Great Balls in the list, so we're going to have a lot of search outs to Garbodor VMAX, but if you want to cut down on evolution instance, I wouldn't hate it. Maybe add in the Counter Stadium or Pumpkaboo or something. We're just playing this pre-rotation and a Marshadow. Yeah. Moving on, we have, like I just said, we have 2 copies of Great Ball, which lets us look at the top 7 cards of our deck, reveal a Pokemon you find there, and then put it into your hand so you can search out both your evolutions and your basic Pokemon. Really help get out your evolving Vs when you need them, stuff like that. We have 2 copies of Energy Switch, as I mentioned when I was talking about the Galarian Moltres. Energy Switch is really, really nice, especially because we have our Leafeon and our Moltres. We have 2 really nice energy acceleration if we miss energy turn 1. Energy Switch can also be used as just Energy Switch from our Garbodor to another Garbodor onto our Trevenant or something like that. And then we have 2 copies of Switch and 2 copies of Air Balloon to round out the item cards. And then all we have left now is our energy cards. We have 4 copies of Aurora Energy because can count for both our Grass and our Darkness. And we also have 3 copies of Darkness Energy and 3 copies of Grass Energy. So we're playing with 3 copies of Grass Energies because we can search it out with Leafeon. And our Aurora Energies, discarding a card from our hand, is actually really, really nice. It's something that is really nice with a number of our cards. It's really nice with mainly Galarian Moltres, discarding Darkness Energies because you only have 3 of them. And Ditto V, discarding those evolving V Pokemon. If you did start with a Ditto V instead of evolving V, you can just Aurora Energy, discard it, and then V Transformation. Or, just attach an Aurora, discard energy, and then you stick on a Ditto V. Something as small as that can be nice with our Aurora Energies. But with that, let's get into the main strategy of the deck. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, these cards seem to have 0 synergy whatsoever. But if you think about it more, they actually do have pretty decent synergy. When you attach 2 Rugged Helmets onto your Garbodor VMAX, whenever it gets damaged, you remove an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon into the opponent's hand. So you can have 2 of those, and then you're removing 2 energy every time you get damaged. And if you Marnie it away, hopefully, at this point, you're going to be forcing your opponents to either play something like a Marnie or Research to dig for those energy attachments, or something like a Rose or a Melanie to reattach those energies, which all of those are supporter cards, therefore buffing your Trevenant VMAX's damage output. This with this entire deck is, I'm going to disrupt your energy, and then hopefully you'll play a couple supporter cards, and then I can reach some pretty high damage territory with 4 screens on Trevenant VMAX. So that is the main premise of the strategy. Now getting to matchups like Eternatus, Crushing Hammers and Rugged Helmets combined are generally pretty good against Eternatus, except they do have an Energy Switch and Galarian Moltres V. For that, you're basically just hoping that they don't have any Darkness Energy discard pile to use Galarian Moltres V with, and then hoping they have to research to get those energy in the discard pile. Basically, like, maybe in the right situation, like, maybe don't play your Crushing Hammers because you don't want to get those energies in the discard pile. Maybe just stick to using your Rugged Helmets instead, and then hoping your opponent has to research away some energy. Better yet, finish it off with a Marnie. So definitely really nice there. Victini, they probably have 0 energy acceleration other than probably like 1 Rose. And with that 1 Rose, probably going to search out something like an Inteleon. But once they use that 1 Rose, it's plus 40 damage, it's nice. But once they use that one Rose, Crushing Hammers and Rugged Helmets can really, really come in clutch. Let's see what else. Shadow Rider, you just hit for weakness, so that's really, really nice. And also Trevenant can be really good late game. Hopefully they're going to have to dig for like some energies. Once again, against Shadow Rider, maybe don't play your Rugged Helmets instead because they go to the hand, helping them draw more cards to get out of their Marnie, etc., etc. Ice Rider, they're going to be discarding their energy for you already, and they play Melanie as part of their strategy in the first place. So them playing those, 3 Marnies each turn is buffing your Trevenant with 120 damage, and assigning kind of some other cards you may play like for Keeper, Research, Marnie, stuff like that. Yeah, and also Trevenant doesn't even have to attack. Sometimes you can just sit there and threaten with it with an energy on it and say, hey, if you play too many supporters, I'm going to be hitting you really, really hard later in the game. So sometimes, yeah, you don't have to tackle Trevenant. You can just tackle Garbodor. And Trevenant can just sit there and threaten the entire game and force your opponent to play differently. The last way that Trevenant and Garbodor VMAX synergize is the Poison. Now, the Poison, this kind of synergy little thing, works a little bit better if you have Toxicroak to buff your poison damage. But hopefully, without the Toxicroak, it's just not as good. The way the poison kind of works is you're either forcing your opponent late game to not research away to their switches or something like that. And if they don't research, maybe they Marnie, and then we can Marnie them back, and we can help you draw more cards. So stuff like that. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna do it for today's video. Really weird deck. But definitely an interesting one at that. Not too good. I'm not gonna be too surprised. But it's definitely interesting. It's an interesting idea, I think. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. If you guys liked it, don't forget to leave a like. If you guys want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. Because I do a whole bunch of Pokemon TCG deck profiles videos like this. And I plan on doing a video, hopefully, on new VMAX, theorizing on if new VMAX copies attacks. Maybe I'll do that later. And also, don't forget to check out Deck Memoirs, which is a series I have going on. There's currently 2 episodes at the time of this release of this video. Yeah, it's good for this video. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.